Good morning, dreamers. Welcome to this very special episode of the Paul Green Comedy PaulCast. It is December 31st, 2023. This is episode 32. Happy New Year's Eve, everybody. I hope you have some incredibly fun plans tonight, but that you are also looking forward to the new year and that you got some big dreams ahead of you. So for those of you who watch this regularly, you might notice that I am somewhere different, or that I don't have my normal background behind me. And that is because I am currently in El Centro, California, en route to San Diego for a New Year's Eve comedy gig. I will be performing at the Chula Vista Presbyterian Church. At a gig out there. Very much looking forward to that. And so I left Phoenix. I had a show last night in Phoenix at about 7 p.m. I went out after my show like an idiot. And then I did not actually leave Phoenix until about midnight. And speaking of me being an idiot, so I had booked a hotel on Expedia, and all I did was I just typed into Expedia and I said, Hotel, Yuma, Arizona, because I was going to go halfway, stay in Yuma, and then go the rest of the way today. So I leave Phoenix, I punch in the hotel, and I'm driving to it. And all of a sudden, as I start to get within a few minutes of the hotel, I start to realize that I am getting really, really close to the United States-Mexico border. They go, oh, wow, this hotel must be right on the border. Well, it was right on the border on the Mexico side. I booked a hotel in Mexico. I was furious, mostly at myself, because that was a pretty bonehead mistake, but also at Expedia, that when I type in Yuma, Arizona, that it's pulling up hotels in Mexico, just thrown in the mix, with the geo-targeting that I had. And now it's like 3 a.m. And by the way, that border crossing was closed. Not that I would go into Mexico. Actually, if the border crossing was open, I might have, if I had my passport on me, because I've been to Mexico plenty of times and have gotten back. But that's just, no, we're not traveling internationally to get to San Diego. That just doesn't make a lot of sense. But now the problem is it's 3 a.m. and I don't have a hotel booked, and it's a pain in the arse to try to book a hotel after midnight for any of you who had that delightful experience, because all of the online Expedia, Priceline, all of those websites, once it hits midnight, you can't book for that night anymore. It considers it the next day, and you can't say, no, I want to sleep right now. I don't want to sleep December 31st after 3 p.m. check-in. I want to technically sleep on December 30th. Again, I don't know if you've had that problem. I've actually ran into that a couple of times. I ran into that when I visited New York a couple of months ago, and the hotel that I had booked flooded, and they did not inform me until I showed up, and they said, oh, yes, unfortunately, our hotel has flooded. Looked fine to me, but, maybe, I guess one of the floors maybe had a pipe break or something. And it was like 12:05. So then I hopped on Priceline, and all of the Priceline, Expedia, and all of that would only let me book a hotel for that night, but not right then, because technically it's in the morning. Anyway, you all get it. Pain in the arse. So I was already about 20 minutes west of Yuma. So I didn't want to backtrack and go back to Yuma, so I just kept driving. I'm like, I'm just going to drive until I come to whatever kind of the next populated area is. And about an hour later, I ended up in El Centro, which actually had a ton of hotels. So I just pulled over, Actually, I just went into a Motel 6. There was a Motel 6 there, and they went on $100. And I'm like, there is no world that I'm going to pay $100 for a Motel 6. You know, I am not a classy man. I travel very cheap. I mean, this motel room I'm in right now is very, very cheap. I got no problem with cheap. But it's cheap, which means I'm not going to pay a lot. And I know Motel 6 is not $100 a night hotel room. Thierry, it's just not. So I went back into my car and then I Googled, called like 4 hotels. All of them had no vacancy until I got to whatever motel this is in with really, really poor lighting. I'm sorry, the lighting is pretty bad for those of you watching on YouTube. But I did the best I can. I brought my microphone. It also, this doesn't have a table for me to clamp my little microphone arm to, which is why I'm just holding it, talk show host style. But, you know, I'm traveling to do comedy. I'm booked on New Year's Eve. I'm excited about the gig. And, you know, to me, for where I'm out, this is me living my dream. I am out there doing it, traveling, getting booked, having fun little hotel stories, mix-ups with booking hotels in Mexico. You know, it's just all part of the journey. So here we are, and I am really excited for this gig. I had a great show last night at Jester's Improv. Had a cast member named Jessica, who I used to perform with, 14 years ago. It's been a long, long time. And she was in town for the holidays and had a bunch of family there. And so it was just really, really great to perform with her, and just had a great time. Yesterday, I went and played basketball with an incredible comedian. I think I talked about him yesterday, named Wayne Fetterman, who was in town. Guy's legendary. If you Google him, he has been in the comedy biz for decades and decades and decades. Is literally wrote the books about comedy and is teaching comedy, I think, at USC. And legendary comedian. I went to go see his show last night, and the owner of Stir Crazy out in Glendale, Arizona, was gracious enough to give me a guest set, which was really fun. And then I got to go hang out with him today. And, you know, I'll tell you, it is really important to associate as much as possible with other people who are trying to do what you're trying to do, or are doing it, or have already done it to a degree that, you know, you haven't achieved yet. And that's something that I experienced with Wayne. I mean, he wrote for The Tonight Show, I think for Jay Leno. He was so Adam Sandler, if you remember, he won some big award. I think it might have been a Lifetime Achievement Award or something like that. And they had this big award show for him at the Kennedy Center. And I see my buddy Wayne on television sitting next to Adam Sandler. And I talked to him about it. He's like, oh, yeah, they hired me to write some of the jokes for the show. You know? And this is the dude that I just went and picked up at his hotel, and we went to LA Fitness and played basketball. And it's so great just hearing him talking about his life. And, you know, and I'm talking to somebody who's just in it. So to him, it's not even like he's going for his dream. It's like he already is living that life. He's already living the life of a creative and a comedian and a writer, living in Hollywood. He's been very successful. He is very successful. And I got to see him headline and do his 45-minute set. It was really, really funny. A really good show. I legitimately laughed a lot, which is just super, super fun. I think, you know, as comedians, I know myself can have a tendency to be a bit of a snob if we aren't careful. And you know, it's just good to be a consumer once in a while, just to go back to being an audience member, going out, seeing a comedy show with a comedian who I really respect, who's legitimately funny, and to really just laugh, to be inspired by that and just go like, okay, that's a funny show. And, a lot of the stuff that he was doing, of course, I started to think about, oh, how would I have handled that premise, or how would I have approached these jokes? And afterwards, I got to talk to him about it and sort of pitch him some ideas, which my suspicion is he probably won't use any of them. Hopefully I haven't become that guy. That'll happen a lot as a comedian. People will come up to you and give you their ideas. Oh, you should put this in your act. So the other day I was at the diner, and this table next to me, they totally dropped pie on the floor. You should do a bit about that. I'm going, okay, yeah, I'll get right on that. So anyway, I feel like I might have become that guy a little bit to Wayne yesterday. Yeah, as I started pitching some tags and ideas on his jokes, and he didn't really seem too enthusiastic about anything that I had pitched. But so great hanging out with him, and then getting to do the show last night, and then hopping right on the road en route to San Diego to headline myself. Got my piano with me. Really looking forward to the show, and really looking forward to this new year. I'm really excited about everything that's going on with my career, with my journey, with my dream, and looking forward to continuing to pursue it with more energy. I really upped my energy this last month. Starting this podcast was a huge step for me, and I've also drastically increased my social media output, where I have just been meticulously consistent with putting out videos every single day, content every single day, posting my comedy, my jokes, some of the other content that I created, my Lord Voldemort videos, my Man on the Street where I'm playing piano for strangers, posting clips of my podcast, posting memes, show promotions, just really putting all of the effort that I can into promoting my comedy, sharing my comedy, and getting myself out there. And I'm just really excited to see what sort of opportunities may potentially shake loose here in 2024 as a result of that effort, while also just being okay with the fact that, maybe something huge doesn't happen. And it's not about attaching my joy or fulfillment or happiness to a potential theoretical outcome, but really just learning to love all of this, learning to just love putting out a podcast every day, and knowing full well that my audience is going to be so small starting out. And, I look at these videos on YouTube, it's maybe 10 views, 12 views, 15 views here or there. And I'm even shocked that it's that, to be honest, and it's just so, to me, very humbling that, 15 people actually stopped by my podcast long enough to trigger whatever YouTube considers a view. I'm not so delusional to think that those all 15 or 20 people who are showing up as views are watching the entire episode. But it's not. That's not what I'm doing this for. I'm really just doing this, first of all, for me, to keep myself accountable and to keep myself in the game by updating this every day. Because to me, it just reminds me like, hey, this is what you're up to. This is what your dream is. And you're going to talk about it every day, and you're going to check in every day. And then secondly is just an opportunity to be vulnerable and honest about my journey and see if that means anything to anybody, even if, what do they say? If it only influences one person. And I really feel that, if one person watches this, gets a little inspiration, gets a little excitement about something in their life, and if I can be that word of encouragement to go for it, knowing full well that there's going to be a sea of criticism, and it's my intention to be a positive voice to cut through, hopefully, the wave of criticism that I think any dreamer, anybody going for a big goal, going for a big dream is inevitably going to experience. So that's what I'm here for, and so excited for 2024. So excited to be on this journey, to be on this path, to have an opportunity to share it with all of you who are listening and are taking an interest. And I hope that it gives you a little bit of, if nothing else, a little bit of entertainment and hopefully some inspiration and encouragement to keep on your path, go for your dreams, go for them with all you got, with whatever your resources will allow, with whatever your heart and ego will allow. And I'm doing the same, and couldn't be more thrilled and excited to see where this all leads. I have no idea. What's at the end of this rainbow, but I'm going to write it and see what happens. So Happy New Year, everybody. Please be safe, be considerate of others, and let's not have a great season of change and opportunity and renewal turn out to be a negative experience through bad decision making. I want to see us all be happy and healthy going into the new year, so that we can go out there and get our dreams, get our goals. So I love you all so much. I appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in for this last month, my first full month of podcasting. It's my intention to do this every day. I want to see if I can go a year. So that's once a day, every day for a year. That's my new goal. I've gone 32 days. I've gone 1 month. I'm a 12th of the way there. So 11 more months to go. And at that point, then I'll determine if I want to keep with it daily. But that's the goal, and that's the intention for now. So that is my thoughts and feelings for today, December 31st, New Year's Eve, 2023, episode 32 of the Paul Green Comedy PaulCast. I will talk to you tomorrow on January 1st. I love you all so much, and let's have a safe holiday, and I will talk to you soon.